hundreds of people who have gathered to witness what has been described as perhaps the greatest turkey event in Thanksgiving Day history.
And I think I hear something now. It's a helicopter. And it's coming this way. No, something just came out of the back of the helicopter. It's a dark object. Perhaps a skydiver.
Oh my God, they're turkeys! Oh, Johnny, can you get this? Oh, they're crashing to the earth right in front of our eyes!
Turkeys running around pushing each other? Oh my goodness! Oh, the humanity! The turkeys are hitting the ground like sacks of wet cement.
Boy, say, gang, I'm very nearly Jeff Deaver.
I'm definitely Eric. Welcome to Damper 3.
Hey, gang. Today's topic is going to be the, it's impossible to hammer it down to this, but top 3 Christmas classics released in the 70s and 80s. Top 3 is impossible to really do. We also get an honorable mention.
Again, we like to make this painful, and this also kind of helps invite, we think, a little bit of extra input from you all, the viewers, with all the awesome, just really, really quality Christmas specials that came out of Generation X. We took it upon ourselves to try to pick out our very top favorite 3, and that leaves room for you all to provide us with where we go wrong. So we'll see how many of you agree with Jeff, how many of you agree with me, and how many of you say we're both completely off base here.
All right, let's start with you. We always start with me.
Okay. All right. So we've got each get to pick our top 3 Christmas specials that were released in the 1970s, 1980s, and actually technically Gen X goes from 1965 to the to 1980 or 1980s. So. But we also get an honorable mention, and this is really tough. But I'm going to go ahead and put as my honorable mention How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And the reason why it's only an honorable mention is because it was released in 1966, so it just barely kind of made it into the scope of what we're talking about. But obviously, the
we
Grinch,
can round up.
Yeah,
round up.
The Grinch, I mean, come on, it's the Grinch. Everybody watches the Grinch. You cannot not watch that during the Christmas season. So that made my honorable mention because it's probably embedded in the psyche of every single Gen X person.
All right. So my honorable mention, 1978, Star Wars Holiday Special.
Why would you do this?
Because you can't pass that up. Oh no, that's just it. That's just it. It was a spectacular thing to watch as an 8-year-old, as I was at that point, maybe 9, I don't know. But it was Star Wars, and it was holidays, and it was awesome. On up until about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 months later when I was looking back at it and thinking, what was I thinking?
I
Special
have it
place
on good
in my
authority,
heart.
Harrison Ford himself, that never happened. So I'm not quite sure what you're even talking about.
Right.
Oh, that was painful. That's a horrible way to start this, Jeff. I don't know. I don't know if we can continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go for the real meat.
Lost some subscribers.
Please subscribe anyway. So I'm going to go with my number 3. Now, obviously, I think we're going to see a couple manifestations of this, but, A Christmas Carol is huge, and there's any number of versions of it. But one of my favorites is 1983, 84, actually, Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge is the best Christmas Carol story rendition, I think, that's out there. And I'm sure some folks will disagree with that, people who are exposed to the older stuff. But I like it because George C. Scott says his lines not like he's on a stage, but he sounds like he really means it. It sounds the most natural when he starts, speaking Dixonian.
You don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence would you have of my reality beyond that of your own senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them, a slight disorder of the stomach. There might be a bit of bad beef, a blot of mustard, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. Humbug, I tell you, humbug.
And he sounds like he's a real human, and he really just makes Ebenezer just a sympathetic but cruel guy, and it's really enjoyable. So I watch that every year. Is really, really, I think, the best Christmas, well, one of the best Christmas Carol renditions that you can have.
All right. That's a good one. My number 3 is A Christmas Story.
Oh, fudge.
With the Ralphie laying hints all December long for the Red Ryder carbine action 200 shot BB gun with a compass in the stock and this thing which tells the time. Recently, I was at a I don't know if we can say the name of the store. I was at a big store, and I found, as they always have, a big supply of Red Ryder carbine action 200 shot BB guns. Cool. With a compass in the stock and the thing which tells the time, which I never understood why he didn't know the name of it. It was a sundial. I just thought it was a little watch.
Yeah,
it was a sundial. Yeah, it's a sundial.
Wow,
that's the thing that tells the time.
Wow.
The old man, Darren McGavin, who worked in swears. Like other artists worked in oil or marble. His mom, who had not eaten a hot meal in years. The fact that he was concerned because Flick said he saw some grizzly bears down by Pulaski's. Yeah, no, the entire story was the Ralphie was excellent. The narration was excellent. It was just almost all year long, I'll say something to the effect of "Ho, ho, ho."
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
You put your eye out, kid. Or shoot your eye out, kid. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And,
yeah.
I will say Christmas Story was on my list, too. So I wanted to edit mine. But let me tell you my theory as to why that movie is loved by a lot of folks. Some people don't like it, but I'll tell you why I love it. I think some people a lot of people on some level like it this way. Like it
that
for this
sound
reason.
is messing up on my earbuds here. I heard you say some people don't like it, and I'm not sure.
But one of the reasons why I think a lot of Gen Xers love it, and I don't know if, and maybe it's on a subconscious level, is because there's a lot of detail on this show. I think it's supposed to be placed in the 50s or 60s or something like that. But a lot of the stuff that goes on in the background happened while we were growing up in the 70s, little things that just dawned on me. One of the things that caught my eye is was when Darren McGavin, when the old man goes after the Bumpus's dogs after they ate the turkey dinner. You notice that the screen door is torn and kind of off of it. That's been there the whole time, and it's like I grew up in that kind of house, where you have the big sinks, the big sinks that are kind of very old fashioned or what have you. I grew up in houses very, very similar to that. Yeah. And so this kid growing up and having these, just being obsessed with Christmas, got to get, there's a certain type of present that he really, really wanted. Growing up with siblings that you fought with. The fighting between Ralphie and his brother, that's what brothers do. I can't stop laughing whenever they start running up the stairs and they're fighting each other to get up the stairs. It's like at the drop of a hat, they're just smacking each other. I'm like, that's what brothers do. And so that whole Christmas setup, the whole time it's so authentic. I love it. And that's one of the reasons why it felt so nostalgic. So I'm going to have a theme here. You're going to notice. I said Christmas Carol. My number 2 was Scrooged, 1988. Bill Murray.
Funny. My number 2. Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'll tell you what mine.
Scrooged. Bill Murray and Richard Donner's interpretation of A Christmas Carol. Oh man, just hilarious. It captures the spirit of Ebenezer Scrooge, but in a really impressive. But it is obviously more modernized and set 80s yuppie kind of opulence or whatever. But that just hilarious. Bobcat Goldthwait. And those ghosts are just, I quote those ghosts a lot, So just love that one.
All right. So, let's see. And something that you left out about that one is that movie has Lee Majors, the Bionic Man, in
How
it.
Could I forget?
It's Lee Majors, the $6 million band.
Santa, is there a back way out of this place?
Of course there is, Lee, but this is one Santa that's going out the front door.
It don't matter a hill of beans what happens to me. The world couldn't afford it if anything happened to you. Now you stay put.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Lee. And Lee, you're being a real good boy this year.
Yes, you sure have.
7 o'clock.
Oh man, it's Lee Majors.
Yeah, you've been an especially good boy this year. And he's like,
that when you that there are certain I can't think of exactly which one I saw it in recently, but like if you Google Lee Majors, you will see it'll say things like Lee Majors, most known for $6 Million Man and A Christmas Store. I mean, and Scrooge.
That's hilarious.
The 3-minute period he was in there, that was like so well received that it's like one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah. That movie also, I'm discussing it so much, quite honestly, because that's my number 2 as well, and I don't have anything to fall back on to switch over. So yeah. That movie also had Carol Allen as Claire, known as Marion.
Karen Allen, not Carol.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, but
of course I'm right.
Marion from Indiana Jones,
of course. Yep.
Who had a love interest in Harrison Ford, who is Han Solo, and she called him Lumpy, which, as we all know, is the name of Chewbacca's son in the holiday special. His name was Lumpy. So, I mean, it's all intertwined. It's all the same universe, man. We're all in the same boat together.
I won't be able to not think of that ever again. That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I guess we just covered both our number 2s, huh? Okay.
Yep. There's number 2s.
All right, number 1, and
I can guarantee that we do not match. So go ahead and go.
I guarantee it as well. Matter of fact, I'm going to say that most of the people who are viewing this will not have heard of this or have seen this. I'm going to put it out there as number 1, and I'm going to stick by it. A little special that came on HBO in 1978. And it was called Rich Little's A Christmas Carol. And Rich Little's A Christmas Carol was a telling of the Ebenezer Scrooge story, but Rich Little, the famous 70s, 80s, 90s impersonator, he's still around too, actually in Vegas doing his job, last I heard, he's still in Vegas doing shows. He would do impersonations of all the different characters, and all the characters were well-known actors up to that point in the late 70s. So W.C. Fields is the actor
yeah.
he portrays being Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Don't bother. I didn't give it the office either. Who the devil are you?
Don't you recognize me? In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Paul Lynn is what's his name? Cratchit. And and just all these different characters. The ghosts are detectives. So Columbo is the ghost of Christmas Past, and Humphrey Bogart is the ghost of Christmas Present, and
Rich Little does them all.
Yeah, Rich Little does them all, and he's and then the Christmas Future is Peter Sellers doing the Ghost of Christmas Not Yet to Come, and it's just brilliantly done. He does all the different characters. I mean, it's hilarious. So if you haven't seen it, you can see it for free on YouTube. So look it up.
Quick shout out to the Cybertronic Ghost of Christmas Past from the Future from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I don't think anything Christmas could be brought up without at least mentioning him. Okay.
Fair enough. I got another shout out too after I hear your number one.
No. Go ahead. Shout out.
Oh, Hogfather. We got to talk about Hogfather too.
Oh, good heavens. Yes. Terry Pratchett's
Hogfather, published in 1996, and they made a movie version of it 10 years later, 2006, well outside of our Gen X period here. But now we're kind of breaking down into general conversation here. Let's get your number one out here, and then we'll see how we can wrap it up. All right.
My number one is The Muppet Christmas Carol in 1992, and I'm not going to listen to any arguments about it. I don't care, okay? 92. They were 2 years old. They don't count. They don't count. We get that one. That's it. So, yeah, we've got it was directed by Brian Henson. That was his debut, directorial debut.
I didn't know.
It was the fourth Muppets movie, and we get them all. We get them all. All the Muppet movies are ours. And we had Gonzo as Charles Dickens, Rizzo as the co-narrator, and Michael Caine was Scrooge. Now, as an interesting note on that movie, instead of just having Jacob Marley, it was the Marley brothers, played by Waldorf and Statler.
There was the year we evicted the entire orphanage. I remember the little tykes all standing in the snowbank with their little frostbitten teddy bears.
And their names were Jacob and Robert, or Bob Marley.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very clever.
And yeah, and nobody gets to take that away from me. That's ours. So, and I'll go so far as to say I saw on Reddit somebody posted a question one time on Ask Reddit, which was, what is your favorite what was your favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol, and why was it the Muppets? And so I have to agree with that one. Yeah. So
I'm trying to remember, I might have this comparison wrong, but somebody pointed out once that the reason why Christmas that Christmas Carol, why it was so good, was because Michael Caine treated all the other Muppets as fellow actors. He didn't act like he was an actor amongst Muppets. He acted like he was an actor with other actors, and that dynamic was just so smooth and so natural.
Michael Caine was incredible in that.
Oh yeah, he just retired. I think he just did a recent movie, and he's announced he's done. I think with after whatever he's currently in or been released or something like that. All right. Well, obviously, we've got a ton of other stuff that we could have mentioned. Neither of us mentioned Charlie Brown Christmas Charlie Brown Christmas, which is probably some kind.
It's ours.
It came out in 1965, so right there at the threshold.
Yeah, that's round up. That's ours. No.
We're a greedy lot. So. So yeah, join the conversation, folks. If what did we miss? Did you enjoy? Did you think that I was closer to the mark? Was Jeff closer to the mark? It wasn't Jeff, but how much did I beat him by? And if neither of us, we're going to put a poll up in the community section of the YouTube page and let us know what you all think.
Thanks so much, gang.
All right. Everybody have a fantastic day. Take care.
We'll see you.